All right, think about this for a second. Your mind isn't just some quiet, empty room where thoughts just kind of happen. No, it's actually this epic, high-stakes RPG battleground. Every single day, there is a massive conflict raging just beneath our conscious awareness. It's a literal battle for your focus, your peace, and ultimately, your actions. On one side, you've got these rogue tricksters actively trying to drain your stats and cause total chaos. And on the other side, a legendary squad of heroes fighting to give you clarity and power. So today, in this explainer, we're going to decode this ultimate battle for the mind using some incredibly detailed ancient blueprints. Let's dive in.
So you gotta ask yourself, who's really controlling your actions? Like when you randomly snap at a friend, or on the flip side, when you suddenly feel this huge burst of generosity. Who is actually pulling the levers back there? Well, when we look into the ancient Buddhist psychology known as the Abhidhamma, we find that these levers are pulled by what are called mental factors, or cetasikas. And it turns out these aren't just vague, floaty moods. They are highly specific, identifiable forces. Think of them literally like individual characters in your mind's game engine, and each one has a very specific set of skills. Some exist entirely to build you up, and others, they just want to tear you down.
The sheer scale of this conflict is just wild. We are looking at two very distinct factions here. In the red corner, we have the Akusala Cetasikas, the 14 unwholesome mental factors. These are your villains. Their one and only job is to cloud your judgment, drain your mental stamina, and make you act in ways you're definitely going to regret later. But over in the gold corner, we have the Kusala, or Sobhana Cetasikas, the 25 wholesome, beautiful mental factors. These are your heroes. And right off the bat, you might notice something pretty awesome. The heroes actually outnumber the villains. But, to win the game, you absolutely need to know exactly who you're up against. So let's meet the big boss of the villains.
Enter Delusion, or Moho. Look, if this were a video game, Delusion is your ultimate trickster mastermind. He's the one hiding in the shadows, pulling the strings. Delusion is the absolute core unwholesome factor. It's basically a thick fog that rolls right into your mind, making it completely impossible to see things as they truly are. It literally tricks you into thinking bad decisions are actually fantastic ideas. But here's the catch. Delusion doesn't work alone. He's got a very loyal, very toxic crew.
And this right here shows exactly why delusion is so terrifying. It forms what the texts call the quadruple of delusion. It teams up with three heavy hitters: shamelessness, fearlessness of wrongdoing, and restlessness. Now, the source material notes these four are called the Sabakula Sadharana Cetasika. But what does that actually mean for you in plain English? It means these four are associated with every single unwholesome consciousness. They are the inescapable core squad. Every single time you have an unwholesome thought, every time, this toxic foursome is guaranteed to be right there, running the whole show behind the scenes.
But it doesn't stop there. Beyond that core four, the villains actually organize themselves into specialized tactical attack squads. First up, there's the Greed Triad. That's greed itself, teamed up with wrong view and conceit. This trio is all about pulling things toward you, right? Making you obsessed with having more, and completely inflating your ego. Opposing them on the tactical map is the quadruple of hatred. Hatred, envy, avarice, and worry. Now this squad doesn't pull, it pushes, it destroys. It makes you bitter about what other people have, super stingy with your own loot, and just constantly, endlessly anxious.
To round out the 14 villains, we have the ultimate energy drainers. Think of these as the debuffs in your RPG. Sloth and Torpor operate as this devastating tag team duel. You know that heavy, foggy laziness where you just physically and mentally cannot bring yourself to focus? Yeah, that's Sloth and Torpor actively sapping your mental HP. And finally, we have the lone rogue, Doubt. Doubt completely paralyzes your decision-making, so you can't move forward at all. So that's the full villain roster. It looks pretty intimidating, right? But hold on, because the cavalry is about to arrive.
Oh yeah. The heroes don't just fight back, they completely rewrite the landscape of the mind. Notice here the Sobhana Sadharana, the universal beautiful factors. Just like Delusion Squad infects every single bad thought, this vanguard of heroes is present in all wholesome and beautiful consciousnesses. Every single one. When these heroes are active, your mind is fully protected. Let's check out their stats. Look at this lineup. This 19-hero vanguard is an absolute powerhouse of positive buffs, starting right up top with protectors like faith and mindfulness. They directly counter the villains with shame and fear of wrongdoing, which in this context means you actually actively care about doing the right thing. But honestly, the most fascinating insight here is found in the bottom 6 pairs, factors like tranquility, lightness, and malleability. Notice how they buff both the Kaya and the Chitta? That means when these heroes are active, they upgrade both your physical body, the Kaya, and your mind, the Chitta. You literally feel physically lighter, more adaptable, and totally tranquil. It's a full system upgrade.
But hey, a vanguard alone doesn't win the whole war, right? You need special forces. And that makes up the final 6 of our 25 heroes. First, we have the 3 abstinences: right speech, right action, and right livelihood. These guys act as your shields, actively blocking out toxic behaviors. Then you've got the 2 illimitables: compassion and appreciative joy. Think of these as massive area of effect abilities that spread goodwill not just to you, but to literally everyone around you. And finally, the ultimate game-winning weapon, wisdom, or Pana. Wisdom is the brilliant sword that cuts right through delusion's foggy mess.
Okay, so we've met the factions. We know their stats, we know their moves, but where exactly are they fighting? Well, in the Abhidhamma, the actual map of the mind is charted out through something called Sampayoganaya, which translates to the analysis of consciousness. This is the actual terrain where the 14 villains and the 25 heroes clash. And when we look at the territory they each control, wow, the numbers tell a really fascinating story.
Let's look at the villain's territory first. Out of all the possible states of mind a human being can experience, the unwholesome factors, the villains, only have 12 types of consciousness in which they can operate. That's it. Just 12 domains where greed, hatred, and delusion can set up their little camps. I know, it definitely sounds like a lot when you're caught in a terrible mood, but just wait until you see the hero's territory.
Get this, the beautiful and wholesome consciousnesses claim a massive 15-9 territories. The heroes actually have an overwhelming, undeniable numerical advantage in the grand scheme of your mind. When you cultivate these beautiful factors, your mind literally opens up to exponentially more states of being than the villains could ever even hope to access. Let's break down exactly how those 59 are distributed across the map.
Looking at the ultimate scoreboard of the mind, the contrast is just stark. The villains are completely capped at the top with just 12. Below that, we have some neutral zones. But look at the heroes' 59 territories. They scale massively. They build up from our normal, everyday sense sphere, extending all the way up into higher meditative states, right up to the super mundane or Lokatara realm, which is the absolute highest peak of spiritual achievement. Your mind is capable of incredible, mind-blowing scaling when the heroes are the ones in charge.
And that Mahagata category right there, absolutely fascinating. The Mahagata are essentially the high-level zones. These 27 advanced states of consciousness occur in what's called the fine material plane and the immaterial plane. And the coolest part? You only unlock these areas through intense mental training. Specifically, they belong to the 9 jhanas, which are states of incredibly deep, profound meditation. The villains literally cannot even enter these planes. It's impossible for them. When you level up your mind to the Mahagata, the heroes have total, uncontested control.
So, there's your map. We've charted the battlefield. We've seen the 14 unwholesome factors that desperately want to drag you down, spearheaded by that toxic quadruple of delusion. But we've also seen the glorious 25 wholesome heroes ready to buff your mind and body, unlocking up to 59 incredible states of consciousness. The controller is in your hands. This ultimate battle is happening right now, in this very second, inside your head. So the question is, knowing all of their stats and all of their tricks, which faction will you actively choose to empower today? Let that sit with you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep leveling up your mind.